everyone. Welcome to part 2 of the Long Hugs Challenge, aka hug your partners until they make you let go. This time with KuguInuShiba, solely because I need this part before I get to the other stuff I have for them, because obviously I'm writing all over the place. Anyway, school is kicking me right now, so I will just leave this here, and I hope you will enjoy. As always, a special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch these videos. You're keeping this channel alive and going. Thank you very much, and let's get into it. An excited shiver ran down Inoka's spine even before he put his phone aside. A grin he couldn't do anything about spreading over his face. How could it not, since he now had one reason more to go hug his boyfriend? It was perfect. Sure, he had to wait for the right moment when his beloveds weren't too busy, but what was a few minutes of waiting compared to getting snuggles? Though, with Kuguri, the minutes were more likely to end up being hours. He sighed quietly, trying to busy his mind with thinking of new activities for the kids under his care, instead of thinking about his boyfriend sitting by the table and staring at the laptop screen in front of him. Why does he have to be busy right now? It wasn't fair of him to ask that, he knew. Since Kuguri's new piece was getting close to the publishing date, he had dedicated his attention solely to catching the last flaws in the text and publishing plan for the past several days. Inoka understood, he really did. The last thing he would want was for the most important day of the year for Kuguri to be ruined because of some stupid mistake. Which, however, didn't stop him from feeling the tiny thorns of jealousy in his chest. Like right now. How stupid can you be for being jealous of his work? Though he wasn't entirely sure whether he was jealous of the book or Kuguri's agent with whom he spent a significant part of the last week, it was dumb. He was supposed to be supportive for goodness sake, not grumble anytime Kuguri excused himself to continue working. What a great partner you are. What's next? You'll forbid him from writing altogether. So? He snapped out of his thoughts, his heart aching upon hearing the uncertain undertone in Kuguri's voice. Yeah? Sorry, were you telling me something? No, Is everything okay? He lowered his gaze as if ashamed, or scared. I can feel you watching me, so I thought if you needed something. No, that's... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stare. Or bother you for the matter. Everything is fine, don't worry. He tried to smile, but even he could feel how forced it had to look. Sighing, he mentally kicked himself when he caught Kuguri's now clearly panicked gaze and caught up, carefully wrapping Kuguri in a hug. I swear nothing's happening. I just got lost in thought, that's all. I really didn't mean to disturb you. Should I leave you alone? I can go to the bedroom or shopping or something until you are done. To his surprise, Kuguri shook his head almost immediately after he finished the sentence and gripped his forearm as if to keep him in place. No, please. I mean, you can if you mind the keyboard clicking or the silence, but don't go for my sake. Are you sure? You can tell me, I'm not going to take it personally. I am sure. A light crimson tint colored his cheeks. You're helping me stay calm. Inoka's surprise went through the roof with those words, rendering him speechless for a second or two. Then he nuzzled deeper into Kuguri's neck, letting out a soft hum. There was more to it than Kuguri let on, he was sure of that. Perhaps it was the deeply embedded fear of staying alone speaking through Kuguri's mouth, But Inoka wasn't going to judge either way. In the end, the result was the same. Alright, as long as you are okay with it, I'm not going anywhere. He kissed Kukure's temple, an idea forming in his head. Say, how about I hug you? In a way that you won't have to stop working, of course. This time, it was Kugure who was surprised, blinking a few times before he turned his head a bit to see Inoka better. Hug me? Yeah, if you want. Sure, of course I want to. But why so sudden? Inoka shrugged and tucked Kugure up from his chair before taking his place and pulling him to sit on his lap instead. It earned him the cutest squeal and gave the warmest embrace as he wrapped his arms around Kugure's waist from behind. I just feel like hugging you right now, but I didn't want to distract you. Oh, I see. So this is the solution. Yep. I get my daily dose of snuggles, and you can continue working in peace. It's a win-win situation, right? He bit the inside of his cheek, suddenly very much aware he didn't give Kugure much choice in the matter despite getting green on the hug. The sudden realization he might be pushing limits too hard made a knot form in his stomach. Before he could start berating himself or apologize, however, Kugure cracked a small smile, his hand laid over Inoka's, reassuring him more than any words could. Right. Just tell me if I get to have it. As if that was possible with your weight. I still don't get how you are the lightest of us. You and Yuki have bigger muscle mass than I. That's not true. It's because you eat too little. Frowning, he tucked the thought away for now, making a mental note to make sure Kugure ate well even during the time of increased stress, before he snuggled to Kugure's back again. And then nothing stood between him and a long snuggle session. Do you want me to check for mistakes with you? I mean, I'm no writer, that's your expertise, but maybe a fresh pair of eyes could help. A soft hum vibrated through Kukure's back. Sure, I would love that. Content, Inoka kissed the connecting spot between Kukure's shoulder and neck, relishing the little hitched breath he got in return. Now I'm ready to start. Shall we? Yes, right. Just let me know if you find something. Inoka snickered quietly, more than just a little proud of himself for being able to get such a reaction out of his usually stoic boyfriend, but then decided not to disrupt Kugure's focus further and leaned his chin on his shoulder to see the screen better. He carefully scanned the text for any obvious or even less visible mistakes, his heart fluttering with pride. Even if the story ended up being a failure sales-wise, it didn't change anything about the fact that Kugure created something amazing, and Inoka couldn't be prouder of his boyfriend's hard work coming to fruition. And he got to share the moment with him now. Was there anything more exciting than that? Most definitely not. He instinctively pulled Kugure closer to him, tightening the embrace a bit to not leave a single millimeter of space between them. You are incredible, you know that? He felt Kugure freeze in his arms for a beat. What makes you say that? You should ask what makes me not say it more often. Especially since you really need to hear it. Despite his earlier promise, he turned Kugure's head a bit to leave a kiss on the corner of his lips. A sudden urge to shift them face to face so he could get a proper kiss, or 10, taking over his mind. But he couldn't act on it. Not now, at least. So? He smiled, unable to stop himself from kissing Kugure again. It's nothing. I just love you so much, you know? I'm so glad you said yes when we asked you to join our relationship. Kuguri paused, something akin to uncertainty flashing in his eyes before a soft smile chased it away. I'm glad too. That's good to hear. Sorry, I let myself get carried away again. Should we continue? Or should we get some snacks first? He didn't like the idea of letting go, but Kuguri's comfort was more important than any challenge. Snacks sound good. It's never good to work on an empty stomach, right? Inuka chuckled, the reminder of Shibaima's words warming his heart. Right. Let's find us something then, Where the heck do you get all this energy from? Shibaima clicked his tongue, already rushing ahead to grab some other stuff he had on the shopping list, and Inuka whined quietly. He would like to say he was embarrassed for panting so much, but at that point, after literally running errands for over 4 hours, he couldn't bring himself to care. It simply wasn't fair. He was supposed to be at home, watching TV or something while he waited for his boyfriend to come home. But no, Shibaima had to drag him along, and he had no one to blame but himself for being soft-hearted. If Shibaima at least didn't act like the pro athlete he was and slow down, maybe then Inuka wouldn't be falling over with exhaustion and his legs wouldn't be hurting like in high school after practice. Come on, do we really need to rush so much? Shibaima finally paused and turned to him, though there was nothing of the apology or perhaps remorse Inuka would like to see on his face. Wasn't it you who said he wanted to be home early? The sooner we get this over with, the sooner we will be home. But not like this. You're going to chase me to my demise with this pace. You've been spending a bit too much time with Now recently. You're starting to catch his vocabulary. So what? I'm happy around him. At least he doesn't chase me around the city the whole day. His pout only deepened when Shibaima rolled his eyes, a soft grumble bubbling in his throat when a kiss landed on his lips. Come on now, this is the last place, I promise. We need some groceries, otherwise we are going to starve. And now is already thin. We can't risk him going on without proper meals, That's cheating, you know? Hitting a soft spot like this. It works, doesn't it? Inuka grumbled a bit louder, making a mental note to not get into Yuki's bad graces anytime soon. But in the end, everything Yuki said came from a place of care, especially the note about Kuguri's weight. He shared his worry with Shibaima a few days ago, glad he wasn't the only one noticing their boyfriend eating less than he should. Since then, they made sure Kuguri's plate was empty after every meal, not for the sake of Kuguri's figure, but rather his health. Neither of them wanted to see their beloved collapse. Fine, but promise me we'll go home after finishing this. Another, much softer kiss landed on his lips. I promise. I'll even let you nap if you want. Inuka rejoiced at that, already knowing how he was about to go about the challenge with Shibaima. And the prospect of taking a nap was also pretty alluring. Finding the last bits of strength within himself, he pushed forward with the shopping, making sure they had everything they needed and some more, just in case. He tried to ignore Shibaima's grin, knowing he was being deceived into helping. But in the end, he got to spend more time with his boyfriend. Still, he couldn't stop the relieved sigh from escaping his mouth when he finally sat on their couch in the peace and quiet of their apartment. You look like you walked 1,000 miles. He scoffed at Shibaima's badly hidden amused tone and closed his eyes for a moment to just let his body relax for a precious second. He needed more practice, as it seemed. Maybe he could ask Kuguri to take him along on some of his evening runs. That would be nice. I certainly feel like it. Remind me to never agree to go run errands with you ever again. Shibama snickered, leaning over the back of the couch to kiss Inuka's cheek. Don't be grumpy. I promised you could take a nap now, didn't I? So go ahead. I'll wake you up for dinner. I have a better idea. Using their position to his advantage, he hooked his arms behind Shibayama and pulled him over the couch to his side and into his arms. Shibayama didn't even manage to squeal and only sputtered when he landed, but at that point he was firmly clasped in Inuka's embrace with no way of escaping. Hey, what was that? An assisted somersault. It's fun, isn't it? The kids love it. I'm not a kid. Let go. I need to start with dinner. Inuka just laughed when Shibayama smacked his thigh, his weak attempts to set himself free useless against Inuka's arms trained by years of wrestling unruly kids. At least he had practice in something. And now he got to have his sweet revenge for the day. You're such a brute sometimes, you know that? How do you hide it behind that kind facade? How dare you? It's not a facade, I'm actually kind. And besides, you are the one to talk, you little Yakusan spawn. So settle down and let me take a nap. Why do you need me for it? Because it's always better to nap with someone you love in your arms. He pulled up his best seductive smile, and Shibayama sighed, finally relaxing against him. Fine. Almost vibrating with happiness, Inuka laid them down, letting Shibayama settle on his chest in a way he found comfortable before he wrapped his arms around him again. See? Much more pleasant like this. You just wanted a plushie, didn't you? No, not this time. I wanted you. He smiled when he caught a glimpse of the scarlet coloring Shibayama's cheeks after his words. As sappy as it was, he kissed the crown of Yuki's head, earning a purr of pure bliss when he started playing with his hair. You know what, dinner can wait for now. But if now gets any thinner, I'll blame it on you. It's fine, I'll help you afterwards. Do we set up an alarm or... Nah, alarms are for cowards. I can wake up on time. And yet, the next thing Inuka knew after he closed his eyes was Kuguri's hand gently shaking him awake into a darkened room, and the clock reading much later than their dinner time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Apologies for the slightly inconsistent voice work, because for some reason I just couldn't find the voices this time around. I kinda like the narration, but I don't know, I just couldn't find the voices this time around. I don't know why. Anyway, as I said, school is kicking my ass right now, so again, I'm not sure how the uploads will look like in this month and the month next, April, May. So just, it is what it is. I'm very sorry. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.